You're at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Connor Pearson, who says, uh, rant about the last time you and some friends went out and did something crazy. You know, I've never been somebody who does, like, really crazy shit, per se, but at the same time, you could view most of what I do as crazy to a lot of people. I mean, the most recent thing I did that was like a fun, wacky, good time was down in Oklahoma, where me and May were at a family reunion last week for about 5 days. Uh, One of her cousins has a golf cart, and so we were riding around. We were at a dude ranch for like 3 days. This big ass, like, basically campsite, not a campsite so much as there was a bunch of cabins and like a hotel and a bunch of cabins and just tons of activities over like a few acres of land out in Oklahoma. So at like a state park. So he has this golf cart, and it's just a way to get around. But like, you know, this is basically a big open place in the middle of nowhere. Any of these places, the appeal is that you can just basically drink and do fun shit publicly and nobody gives a shit. So we're like all, packed onto this golf cart, holding beers, including the driver, just getting drunk and driving around on this golf cart all over the place. And what was cool about the place is, this was actually a problem with the place, but it was cool that it was flooded to fuck. Like, the water had risen ridiculously high. So, like, a lot of the stuff that you're supposed to be able to do there, you couldn't because it was flooded. Oklahoma's been flooding lately, and so we were just riding around in this golf cart, fucking backing beers and, looking at flooded shit. There was one point where me and May's sister, like, we were trying to fit 5 people on the golf cart, so it was her cousin, her brother in the front. She's sitting down on the back, and then her sister and I are standing on the back, like, holding onto the roof, and just fucking booking it around. And it's funny because golf carts, they only move at like 15 miles an hour, and if you're behind one in a car, it looks like it is not even moving. But when you're riding on it, it feels really fast. So you feel like you're fucking, going crazy. So it feels like something that is, crazier than it actually really is. But that was pretty fun. We also, like, again, not much stuff that you could do at that place would be considered crazy, just because that's kind of the point of being there, is that you could do funny things. We sat in the back of a boat that was not moving and drank a bunch of beer because, like, the guy who was running, they wouldn't let us rent a boat because it was too late in the day, but the guy was like, you can just sit in a boat and drink if you want, and we were like, okay, so we did that. Not crazy, but just fun. What's the craziest thing? Like, May and I have done some things that you could consider somewhat crazy, but it's mostly just having sex in weird locations. Probably the best one was just in the car after a Post Malone concert, because it took like 2 hours for everyone to fill the amount of time it took for everybody to leave the place. It was called Darien Lake in Rochester, or around Rochester. The amount of time it took for all of the cars to filter out of this parking lot was longer than the fucking show itself. And so we're just waiting in the back of the car, and like, nobody's moving. They've like literally gridlocked, like all around us are cars that are gridlocked trying to escape, but like in a position where nobody could see into the car. So, just went and fucked right there in the middle of it all. Crazy. I mean, the PCP, all of us, renting an Airbnb and doing RadCon 3 was fairly crazy. But again, it wasn't like we were doing anything hyper illegal or anything like that. I mean, the PCP, when we're around, it always looks like a crazy time is happening. when we're all around each other. I can't think of anything I've done that's like, I don't know. It depends on your definition of crazy. So I guess that's as far as I could go with it. You know, I haven't done anything like, again, super illegal. I'm not like, me and my friends aren't like breaking and entering and fucking, you know, doing stuff that you would see in some fucking teen punk rock music video. But we are willing to skirt the law or to exert some, you know, some loose interpretations of it, if you will say.